Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a lovely day. For today's video I'm going to be doing a sit down video, which I feel like I haven't done in a really long time. Actually, before I begin this video, a lot of people have been asking me what I'm going to be doing in college, and I'm just going to say that I unfortunately didn't get my course because I got enough points for my course, but I didn't meet the maths requirement, so I'm going to be doing a PLC course this year, which is absolutely fine. I'm happy enough with that, but I think it's quite unfair that just because I didn't meet my maths requirement for a course that doesn't need maths, that I didn't get my place, which I think is quite unfair. But look, everything in life happens for a reason, so I'm trusting that. For today's video, I'm going to be giving my advice, tips, my experience, just using all of that to formulate an advice video to Leaving Certs, to sixth years who are currently going to be saying, actually they probably are in school now, going to be doing their Leaving, who are going to be doing their Leaving Cert this year. So I just thought I'd give my advice, my experience and all of that jazz. And I do have a couple of notes here just because on my Instagram I did ask people if there's any focus points that they wanted me to focus on or to mention in this video. And if you want to be a part of any future videos, just follow my Instagram down below. Also, obviously I can't film this video without addressing my Leaving Cert video. Guys, I filmed that video thinking the max views it would get were maybe 2,000 or 5,000 at a push. It's nearly 35,000 views and it's crazy, and I've gone up by 480 subscribers, which is mental. I just want to say a massive thank you to every single person who watched that video, every single person who commented on that video. The love. There's not one mean comment in that, and I haven't deleted any. There's not one mean comment and I'm just blown away by it. So thank you so much. This is a very long intro, so I'm just going to get into the video. If you're new here, thank you for subscribing. Lots of love. So, Leaving Cert. So this time last year I was in school, about to face probably the hardest year I would ever face. I was a ball of nerves. I was so nervous. I remember sitting in my assembly that morning pooping myself. I spent all summer worried that I was going to fail and just worried that I wouldn't be good enough, etc, etc. And it was terrifying. Before you actually start sixth year, I think that's the worst because you have all of this pre-nerves and pre-thoughts that you're going to fail, and you kind of make yourself feel little about it before you even begin, which is so horrible, but you do. So when I remember sitting into my assembly, like honestly crapping myself, because every teacher is telling you this is going to be the hardest year, it's going to be so tough, you know, you have to work, and all of that is like making you so nervous. But I can honestly tell you it was, and I'm not going to sit here and say that the Leaving Cert wasn't hard or that the Leaving Cert wasn't stressful. I'm not going to lie to you. For me, I found it very stressful and at times overbearing, overbearing, so much so that I thought that I couldn't go on with it, that I thought that I needed to drop out. It's a lot, but it was not as bad as I thought it would be, and I'll give you my tips and my experience on how that was. My number one tip straight off the bat is to give yourself every day as it comes. And that's going to be hard, but I tell you, it'll be one of the best things that you do, to just take every day as it comes. So basically when I started school, I didn't really study properly until November, I'm going to say, for my Christmas tests. I did my homework every night and I'd read over chapters in the night, but I didn't put any pressure on myself to study straight off the bat because I didn't want to overdo it straight away. And I started studying in November, and I actually did supervised study. And if your school offers supervised study, I highly recommend doing it, because for me, I feel like that was the reason why and how I studied. It was really good, and there were times that I absolutely dreaded going in there, but it was really nice because you're surrounded by people who are studying. So when you see other people studying, you're gonna study. And I did study, and it was expensive and it was exhausting. 6 hours a day sometimes, you know, it was exhausting. But I tell you, it was worth it, and I really, really stand by my decision to do that. And if you have supervised study offered to you, definitely do it. But basically what I'm trying to say is I took every day as it came. I didn't put so much pressure on myself. at the beginning to do 6 hours a day, to do 5 hours a day. I did what I could, and I did what I was feeling. And for example, like, so there are some days you're going to be feeling better than others. Like, there are some days you'll be quite willing to sit down and study. Then there's other days where your mental health could be at you, or you're not feeling that great and you don't study. And I had loads of those days. I had days where I studied from 6 o'clock to 10 o'clock. I had days where I didn't do anything. You know, it's all about the balance. So I think don't make yourself study right away. I didn't start studying right away. Like I said, I took maybe a month. I did my homework and that was that, and I closed it, left it, let myself set into it, and that was that. Balance everything. So what I did was I wrote down, let's say, however, there's like, for example, on one night you may get loads of homework, and that's going to take ages, and you're like, how the hell am I supposed to fit studying into that when I have so much homework? And there'll be other nights that you don't get as much homework. So I think it was for me, like, on Wednesday night I got loads of homework, and then on Monday night I didn't get that much homework. So I would study as much as I could on Monday night, and then on Wednesday night I didn't really have the time to be studying. So that would be my tip, is to organise yourself and don't put too much pressure on studying and all of that. So I got somebody asked, like, what do you do about having the mindset that you won't fail? That was huge for me. I had, every time, like, I thought about the Leaving Cert, I was like, what's the point of even trying if I'm just going to fail it? And that's literally that's what I thought. And sitting here now knowing that I worked as much as I possibly could, and I didn't fail. And it's like, when you're, okay, so there's, the Leaving Cert is this one huge obstacle, and until it's over, that obstacle, that's all you can see. So when you're on the other side of the obstacle, which you will be now, that's all you can see. All you can see is this problem, and you can't see the other side of it. But I can honestly tell you, if you work your best, if you do your absolute best, and it will take hard work, it will take determination, it will take a lot of pressure, it will take a lot of not feeling great, but if you put your best into it, then that's all you can do. So with the mindset that you won't fail, if you know you're working hard and you know you're doing your best, then you probably won't fail. And if you do fail, then at least you know you worked your best, if that makes sense. I always thought, like I said there, that I thought that, like, I'm gonna fail, so what's the point? If you need to just take every day as it comes and try and do your best. That's basically what I'm gonna say. And there's been times that I've studied so hard for tests, like biology or maths even, and I still failed. I'm like, what am I gonna do? Like, it's the worst. But do your best and try and take out that I'm gonna fail attitude from your brain, because if you start with a negative attitude, it's only going to make it more negative. So I feel like if you start with, look, I find the subject really hard, but I'm going to do my best, then you'll feel better instantly. And the next thing is stress and anxiety. So a lot of you may know, if you watch my videos, or you may not know, I do actually have anxiety. I have social anxiety, and I do get really anxious about things. My anxiety during the Leaving Cert was a lot. I had a lot of panic attacks, I had a lot of crying fits, I had a lot of just feeling shite, basically. And my advice for that is just, again, take every day as it comes, and to just reward yourself. If you know you've been working hard, you've been doing your best, you need to tell yourself that, look, I've done this X amount of study today, I've done my homework, and that is amazing. You need to give yourself that encouragement and give yourself that feedback all the time. Also, if you're getting very stressed, very anxious, talk to somebody, whether it be your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your family member, your sister, your teacher, your favourite teacher that you like, whether it be a guidance counsellor, anybody, talk to them. They will help you, because I can guarantee you're not the only person feeling like this. Leaving Cert is a very stressful time. I saw people in my year at the beginning of the year all happy and smiley to not being happy and smiley at the end, and it broke my heart to see them like that. You have to just be there, and people will be there for each other because they know it's such a tough time. So my advice is to just help each other out, talk to people and give yourself that encouragement. And to not be hard on yourself. It is a very stressful time, and I think the Leaving Cert is so unfair because it asks so much of people at such a vulnerable age of their lives. So it's just be kind to yourself, and if you're somebody who struggles with anxiety, struggles with depression, struggles with anything, eating disorders, anything, please, please, please get help. And don't, you know, your mental health is more important than anything. It's more important than a number on a piece of paper. It's more important than a number ever. It's more important than getting sick over something, or, you know, you need to look after here before you want to do well. And that's what I found. So there were days like I said earlier, that like if I wasn't feeling well, I didn't force myself to do anything. For example, I remember one day I came home from school and I had such a shit day, like I really did. And my sister was like, do you want to go for a walk? And I was like, no, I'm fine. And she was like, come on Fiona, go for a walk. And I was like, no, I've 2 essays due for Thursday. I have this, I have to study this, I have a test tomorrow. And she was like, just come with me. So I did. Went for a walk, I brought my camera, I took some pictures, and I felt so much better. So when you take yourself out of that little bubble, because you will make a bubble, and sometimes it's not a nice bubble. You take yourself out of that for a minute, you get some fresh air, you get some family time and talking to neighbours and everything like that, you will feel so much better, I guarantee. So do the little things like that to make yourself feel better. And hopefully it will work. And just don't, remember there are always people there to listen and you're not alone. And so the next one is balancing hobbies, school, gym, food, etc. So this is something I found really hard during the Leaving Cert. Up until February I was fine, as in like I worked out every week. I worked out 4 times a week. I ate healthy enough. I went for a walk after school. Everything was going grand. And then the mocks came and everything just, no. I started eating very unhealthy. I stopped working out. I stopped going to my workout class, and well, no, I stopped going to my workout class maybe a month before the Leaving Cert, but I could tell that things weren't going the way that I wanted to. I wasn't eating healthily. I wasn't working out. Like even to this day, I haven't worked out since May, which is really bad, but I'm going to be fixing that. But and you know what? I'm not an advocate for somebody who managed my time well. I really didn't. Towards the end I panicked and I studied and I studied and I studied and I forgot to work out. And not that I forgot, but I just was like, no, I can't spend 20 minutes working out when I could spend 20 minutes revising this. So that's something like try and make yourself do. And before the mocks I was actually really good. The minute I came home I worked out. That way it was done. I gave myself a break. I gave myself a 20-minute break, I worked out, and then after the workout your endorphins are stimulated, so you're feeling a lot better. And I tackled my study well. I was like, yes, I'm in a good mood now, I'm, you know, all set and everything like that. So what I would do is, and this is going to be a lot easier said than done, so it's very easy for me to sit here and say this, especially when I didn't do it all the time, is to make a study plan. And in those study plan, make time for 15-minute on social media, 15-minute workout or whatever, time for that as well, but also stick to your study timetable. So that is my advice for that, because if you overdo the study and if you overdo the homework and other things don't have enough time, you're going to make yourself feel guilty about it. You're going to also be overworked, and then it'll work for a while, like you'll be feeling like, oh, I've done this and this, but then your other part of your life won't be doing as well. So it's not easy. You're not going to have a 50-50 balance for everything. That's not the way it works, but do your best and just try and stay as organised as possible. Those are my tips for that. The next thing I wanted to talk about was the actual study part of the Leaving Cert. A lot of people ask me, how did I study? So basically, for me, everybody's different. You're going to have your own techniques. You're going to have something that is different for you, will be different for somebody else. So I'm just going to tell you what I did. So I So I did my homework. I did after school study. So after school study was from 10 to 4 to 10 to 6. So in those 2 hours of, let's say, study at school, I did my homework. So whether that be an essay that was due, a maths question, anything, I don't really know now, in those 2 study hours. So if you don't do after school study, maybe give yourself 2 hours to do your homework, or more if needed. And then what I did was, when I came home, I gave myself a 20-minute break and I revised what my homework was. So like, let's say I had an essay on Hitler or something, I would read my essay again that I did, and then I would go back to the chapter, let's say that my essay was from, and I'd read my chapter again. Then maybe I would write out some notes from that essay that I did, or just some notes about, let's say, Hitler's foreign policy or Mussolini's foreign policy or whatever, and I wrote them out and then I tried to learn them, and then I would try and give myself a blank page and write down what I could remember, which that worked the best for me, because then by doing that, if you, let's say, even by doing definitions, like, I don't know, like the pacts between Mussolini and Hitler, by doing that and saying individually what they were, then you realised you knew them. Sorry, it's raining outside, so if you can hear that, that's what that is. Then you knew them, and that's the same for home ec and stuff. So that would be my advice, and that's just me, like, that's the way I did it. So for any definitions, like, I'd read over a chapter. I did a chapter a night in what I could, and I made a study plan when I got home. So I'd be like, okay, look, it's 7 o'clock now, I'm gonna study until maybe 10 or maybe 9:30 or whatever it would be that night. And then I would say, I'm going to do this, this and this, and try and stick to that. And I studied history and English every night just because they're my 2 favourite subjects, and I needed to study both of them. And then, let's say, other subjects varied, like Irish and stuff, but I studied each subject every 2 days, if that makes sense, kind of swap them in between. And then I would do maybe 30 minutes or 20 minutes or however much I needed. Another thing what I would say is a really good study tip that I found was, let's say you're doing something in class that you're finding quite difficult. Go home and read the chapter or whatever it is that you're finding difficult, and is to like go home and do an exam question on it, or do any question on it, and test yourself all the time, constantly be testing yourself. Learn well by talking. So in class, like that's why going to class for me was essential, because I learn really well by audio. Like, I remember what a teacher said about something. That's why I didn't really miss any days of school, just because if I missed a day and then went home and tried to teach it myself, didn't really go that well. But and YouTube videos, YouTube and study clicks will be your best friend. Get study clicks, get YouTube, well, YouTube's free, but get study clicks. It's the best thing you'll ever do. They have study videos on it, they have exam questions, they have everything on it. A1, loved it. YouTube. Now, YouTube for me was brilliant for English, history, home ec, what else? Irish. So basically for English I would get the poems read, so you can get, like, if you look up the poet that you're doing, you can read, you can have the poem being read to you, so that way you remember the quotes. You remember the quotes. And even with your text that you're doing, if you get like a discussion on the text, or if you get the themes of the text, sometimes it'll be really, really helpful for you. History was brilliant for YouTube. Oh my god, if you do history, YouTube will be your best friend. There was so much on it in everything, so I highly recommend that. Like, actually every night before I went to bed I watch a video on something. Usually YouTube is very good for American history and the foreign policy and dictatorship and democracy, but it wasn't that great for Irish history. There is a good bit there for Irish history, but not a lot. But I do recommend YouTube, it's brilliant. And yeah, that's basically what I did to study. I also, supervised study was key for me. YouTube key, study clicks key. Went home, dedicated time to actually study. I read over chapters, I rewrote notes, that was basically it. Wrote them out, highlighted them, stuck them up around the room, tried to listen to them, voice them out, like called them out, read over my notes aloud, got people to ask me. Anything that you can do that'll make it easier, that's what you can do, basically. I feel like this video is very rambly. I haven't done a sit down video in such a long time, so I'm all over the shop. And the next thing that somebody asked was being scared to leave school. So I was feeling this a lot. Now I felt this a lot before, let's say, the mocks and stuff, because I was like, oh my god, you know, school's nearly, like Leaving Certs nearly over, like what am I gonna do, like going into the big bad world on my own, blah blah blah, and all of that. But then I realised that after a while of realising how hard the study was and how hard it was to keep up and stuff, I realised that I did want the Leaving Cert to be over a lot. So I wasn't scared to leave school then, but at the same time I was scared to move out and to go to college and on my own and stuff. So I feel like you just, again, you need to take every day as it comes to support yourself and accept that this is the next chapter of your life. Because if you remember back to before primary school, you were terrified to go into secondary school, yet you've completed 5 to 6 long years and you were terrified to do that and you've done it. So the college will be the exact same thing. You're terrified of it, but when you get there it won't be as bad. But again, I suppose college is harder. You're being an adult, you know, you're living on your own, you're buying stuff like food, you're cooking for yourself, you're cleaning for yourself, you're being independent, you're getting your own transport, you're working, all of that. But you will definitely adapt to it. I can't really speak about how it's gone yet because I'm just about to face it. But yeah, so I'm just about to face it and stuff. But I will let you know. I'll be making loads of vlogs on college, loads of videos on college and stuff, and what it's like to live in accommodation and all of that stuff. But my advice to anybody who's scared to leave school, it's hard. It's hard. Like the last 2 months of secondary school, you're gonna realise that it's hard because, you know, the Leaving Certs, first of all, the Leaving Certs coming at you like a huge wave that you cannot avoid. Second of all, you start, like, you just realise that it's all going to come to an end. And I feel like I got very emotional and very sentimental in my last 2 months of secondary school. Before that I was like, oh, get me the hell out of here, I cannot wait to leave, this is such a shithole, like just leave, like just get me out of this right now. And then those last 2 months, like I'm actually getting emotional talking about it now because I actually miss it already. But the last 2 months I was just like when we had our grad mass and everything was coming to an end, I was like, what the hell is happening? You know, this has been my little home for 6 years. Yeah, it hasn't been the best, you know, it's been tough, but you're all of your friends and all of your classmates who you've laughed with, joked with, cried with, are leaving you. And it's just such a weird experience, but I promise you, like, it will, you know, everything has, my battery's about to die, great. Everything happens for a reason and everything will come at just the right time for you. That's what I believe in anyway. So if you're scared to leave school, just remember that you survived 6 years of secondary school when you thought you couldn't, so you will do the same in college. So basically the next part of the Leaving Cert I'm just going to talk about is how I found the Leaving Cert, as in how I found that year. For me it was a very stressful year. It was very stressful. There was times that I cried and cried and cried and cried because I thought that I wouldn't be good enough, that I was not intelligent enough to face the Leaving Cert. And going back to how upset I was and how nervous I was, it does make me upset because, you know, the Leaving Cert isn't a one-fit-all type of situation, and that's kind of what it's paved out to be, you know. And I feel a lot of students can't handle it, you know. It doesn't have any consideration for what it's like for people who have a bad family, or not a bad family, whose family life is tough, or who has a mental illness or has a physical illness, or it's just not great at school, or for somebody who is getting bullied, harassed, anything like that. And it's like, in order to do great in the Leaving Cert, you literally have to be consistent. And for 9 months of your life, that's very difficult because nobody knows what's going to happen to you in those 9 months. Thankfully for me, nothing drastic happened, other than that my mental health has been a little bit all over the shop, but I kind of managed that myself just by taking every day as it comes and all of that. So when I look back to the Leaving Cert, it was very difficult, and there were times that I sat down in my study desk, which is right over there. I was like, what's the point of me learning this if I'm just going to fail, if I'm just going to do shite? And I always considered myself to be the stupid one in my family, and like to not be as great as everybody else. But you can only do your best. You really can only do your best. And I know a lot of people, you're going to be sick of people saying that, because that's literally what everyone's going to say to you. You can only do your best, but it is true. That's all that you can do. And sometimes your best will be enough, and sometimes your best won't be enough. In the same way that I got enough points for my course, but because I didn't meet the maths requirement, that I didn't get into my course. And it's like, for me, like, to get 300 points for me was very difficult, because as I said, I found school very difficult. Yet I got 375, which for me is brilliant. You kind of have to know your own success. You have to know your own limits, your own, you just have to know yourself. You can't compare yourself to other people. I was sitting beside people in class who got 500 points their Leaving Cert, who got a H1s, H2s, H3s in every test, whereas I didn't. I'm not that student. So you have to know your own limitations, your own depths of success, and you have to reward yourself for that. For some people, getting a H5 in something is difficult. For some people, getting a H5 in something is easy. 300 points for me was very difficult, but if somebody, you never know, is what I'm trying to say. So just in the mindset that when I look back at myself, I was comparing myself to X, Y, and Z, and that's what I don't like about the Leaving Cert. It makes you compare yourself to everybody else, but after the Leaving Cert, you are your own individual, and no one cares what you got in the Leaving Cert. So my point is, don't compare yourself to other people. It won't get you anywhere. It's going to make you feel the absolute shite about yourself. And sometimes there are teachers who congratulate the really good ones in the class, and everyone else feels like shite, because they're like, well, this person got a H1 and I'm getting a H6, So just know in here that you're doing your best. That's all I told myself all the time when I sat down at that study desk and I did my study, and I was like, look, I'm doing my best, I'm doing my best, I'm doing my best. And that's all. You need to feed yourself that positive talk, positive mindset, positive outlooks, outcomes, everything. So you just have to be kind to yourself. And that's basically what I did. And even though it was a stressful year, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was. And when you change your mindset, everything else changed, guarantee. Now, another thing I want to talk about, a lot of people for the Leaving Cert avoid going out, and they're like, oh, I can't do this because I'm studying, I can't do this because I'm studying. And they're like, if they go out, let's say on a Friday night or Saturday night to an 18th or whatever it is, they come home, they're like, oh, I feel like I shouldn't have done that, I should have studied. And that's something that ate me up inside a lot. But at the same time, you need to have your social life. It's all about balance. You can't be staying at home studying for hours and not going out with your friends, or not, if you're the type of person who likes going out, that is, or not going to the cinema with your friends or something like that. You need to give yourself those breaks. They're so important. Your social life is important, and also just time with your friends is important, because what you're going to forget is, while you're in your room studying and not going out with your friends, you're missing the quality time that you could have had with your friends, and the last time that you're going to have with your friends. You're going to see each other all the time, so you need to remember that, and don't be too harsh on yourself for studying. And that's the same for going to training, for going to piano class, or whatever it is that people do. Just remember to keep a balance in everything. And I know a lot of people, like when there was events on in school, like they wouldn't go to it because they were like, oh, I need to be at home studying. And that, for some people, that's fine. If you want to do that, that's absolutely fine, but I don't recommend doing it, because you're going to miss out on the quality time that you could have had with your friends. And yeah, so that's just my opinion on that. When you look back on the bigger picture of life, when you look back on the Leaving Cert, you're not going to think of, let's say, maybe you might a little bit, the worrying and the stress, but you're going to think about that time that you had with your friends. So cherish the time that you have with your friends and enjoy yourself. Obviously, balance is important. The next thing I want to talk about is family pressure. I know a lot of people, thankfully I didn't get much of it, but I know a lot of people who had a lot of pressure from older brothers and sisters and mums and dads who were like, well, your brother got X amount of points, you should be getting the X amount of points, and etc, etc, or they're doing teaching, you should be doing teaching, all that shite. At the end of the day, an individual is an individual. We're all different, whether it be by blood or not. We're all different. For example, me and my twin sister, we are doing the same course, but we're so different. It doesn't matter if I don't know, it doesn't matter. Like, my sisters are really, really smart. They're so smart, and then I'm not. Like, I'm not as smart as they are, and I always compared myself to them, but then I realised we all have different limitations, different successes and all that, and I am more creatively smart than I am academically smart. So I think it's just, if your family's giving you pressure to do a course because they want you to do the course, you just have to do what's right for you at the end of the day. If you can, some people can be very pushy, but you have to do what's right for you, because if you're not happy in a course, you like, think about the money is wasted, the year is wasted, and you're gonna be so unhappy. So you have to keep pushing for what you want to do. If you have your heart set on accounting, if you have your heart set on a photography course, your heart set on teaching or being a doctor, being a doctor, or being an actor, anything, do what you want to do for yourself, because at the end of the day, your life. Okay. I think that's basically everything I wanted to talk about. I'm just trying to think, did I miss anything? Actually, a good few people were asking me to do a video on how I got a H1 in English and how I got a H2 in history, and I will do those videos. I'm going to do them as separate videos, I think, and advice for studying those two subjects, I think. I'm just trying to think, did I miss out on anything? If you didn't, just take this from my video. It's going to be a hard year. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it for anybody. It's going to be a really hard year, but what you need to do is do your best. You're going to hear that a lot, but really do your best and know that you're doing your best. Balance your time. Eat as healthily as you can, but don't be hard on yourself if you gain weight. I gained so much weight. I still haven't worked it off yet. I gained so much weight during my Leaving Cert. I'd say half stone I gained, which, you know, was fine. It was a very stressful month for me, or a very stressful few months for me. Balance everything. Balance your friend life, your social life, your family life, your home life, your study life. Balance all of that. Another tip that I have for Leaving Cert is go to school. Like, try to be in school as much as possible, because I guarantee you it'll help a lot. That's, again though, that's just me. Like, I learn better by hearing. Some people learn better when they're at home. Personally, I missed one day of school, I think 1 or 2 days, and I only went home a couple of days early, like when I was sick. But I always try to be at school. So just, I hated school as well, but I just needed to be there because I learned by audio. I'm an audio learner. It's going to be a tough year, but support yourself. Give yourself positive love. Give yourself encouragement, all of that. Support your friends. Your friends are going to be going through a tough time, and they may not even show it. You might see smiles all the time, but it's not always like that. Talk about it whenever you need to talk about it. Take every day as it comes. When it comes to orals and stuff, do you know what? Oh, I feel like I've just done a bad job with this video. Like, the Leaving Cert is hard. Like, when it comes to every little part of it, whether it be projects on time, have your projects done on time. Get them done, get them organised. It will be a pain in the arse. Trust me, it was such a pain in the arse for some of them, but get them done as early as you can, because then you're not going to be regretting not having them done. For orals, study. Do your best. Ask your friends to help you if you're finding it difficult. Ask your teachers to help you. They don't mind. That's what they're there for. Leaving Certs are the most important year in the school. They're going to do their very best to help you with everything. I found orals really hard because I have social anxiety, like to talk about, like I talked about, and it was very difficult for me because not only did I have one examiner, I had two. So talking to one person was bad enough, but talking to another person was worse. So just do your best, and that's why, you know, I found orals really hard because I get really nervous. So keep doing it. Practice makes perfect. Practice makes perfect. You will get better at it. Like, when your teachers, like, you'll have a lot of prep for oral done because you have a good month of just doing oral in class, and it helps a lot. I found the orals to be very stressful, but you know what? The feeling that you get when you walk out of there knowing it's done. Best feeling ever, I'll tell you that much. It's going to be nerve-wracking, but everybody is going through the same thing. The examiners know you're stressed. They know you're nervous. They want to help you. Even though it may seem like they don't, they will help you. Like, For my Irish oral, for example, he helped me when I got stuck, so I get very tongue twisted, and he helped me, which was really nice. So yeah, and then after the orals and all the projects are pretty much done, you have the rest of the time to study, and it's actually like nice in that sense, because the minute all that is over with, you have your time to study and everything is more balanced. So I feel like I did a really bad job in this video. If you're still here, thanks a million, because everything's so muddled up in my head. But if you have any questions at all on the Leaving Cert that I probably missed, let me know, and I'll answer them underneath this video, or else I'll make another video about it, because this video actually I don't think is that great. But yeah, I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to talk about. Like I said, if you have any questions, let me know. All you can do is do your best, and yeah, and at the end of the day, you just cherish the time that you have left with your friends and your family even, and do what you can, because I tell you, like, on results day, all that hard work and all of those late nights crying and like all of that pain is just worth it when you get that sheet of paper that does not define your life, but when you get it and you know you did your best, it's the best feeling ever. Obviously that's like if you're happy with it, and I know a lot of people worry about not getting their courses, not getting enough points, but everything in life happens for a reason. I always believe that there's other ways into everything. Like for me, for example, I'm not going straight into college, I'm doing a PLC course, so there's other ways for everybody, so always remember that. I hope the year goes well for you, and if you have any more questions, let me know, and follow my social media if you want to have a discussion with me about anything. I'm always here. If you ever feel alone, I'm always here. From somebody who found school really difficult to someone who's not academically smart, I can help you out in any way. And also I'm going to be making more videos about the Leaving Cert. So if you have any requests, let me know. Thank you so much for watching. I feel like this video is all over the shop, but I'm so sorry. But yeah, I'll see you very soon with another video. Bye. Make sure to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Bye!